Welcome back everyone to our playthrough of the career mode here in NASCAR Heat 2. So we just finished up with Bristol and we got a top 15 finish, so not quite as strong as we wanted to do, but it's well within our range that we're looking for, which is generally somewhere between 5th and about 15th or 20th. Anywhere basically that we can find some good racing, and we definitely found that at Bristol. The only thing about Bristol is there is nowhere for the lap traffic to hide. So once you get in lap traffic, you are in a lot of lap traffic. Even in that very short race that we ran at Bristol, there were cars at the back of the field, probably about 10 or 12 cars that were 3 laps down. So that means we passed those guys 2 to 3 times based on where we were in the field. So that's a lot to pass the same car. And when you think about trying to pass cars to move up through the field and gain positions, as well as passing all of the lap traffic multiple times, that is a lot of cars to pass in a very short race. So Richmond should be a lot different than that. There'll be some lap traffic, particularly toward the end of the race, but Richmond generally is a lot closer. I would estimate that, of course, Richmond is a bigger track, so I would estimate that it should be a little bit easier on the lap traffic side of things. Now, Richmond is somewhere that we're going to have to be careful about the setup. If we go a little bit too restrictive on the setup, then we'll end up finishing about 30th. If we don't go restrictive enough, then we could very easily get up toward the front and possibly even run away with this thing. So we have to be careful about that, as we always are. But the main thing is, of course, to have fun. Really, the only bad result would be if we get up front and lead all the laps and we're a lot faster each lap than the other AI cars. That's no good. But other than that, I really don't care a whole lot about where we finish, as long as we can have some good racing. So let's get to it. All right, before we get to the race, let's take a quick look at the setup itself. And for the most part, everything is fairly standard. I did give us 100 pounds of rear spring split because this track is very fast and gets very, very tight. So you can loosen up the car quite a bit at this place, and you will just continue gaining speed the more you do so. So 100 pounds of rear spring split really isn't very much at a track like this. Also, the track bar I've left at 8.5 inches. Again, you could go much higher than that, and the more you can get the car to turn here, the faster you're going to be. It's really hard to get the car too loose at this place because there is so much grip. So with that in mind, let's start the race. All right, here we go. So we are under green. Back off a little bit early here. Try to get to the bottom. All right, so everybody's jammed up here at the beginning of the race. We've got 52 laps, so a lot of laps to run. And the key is hold that bottom. You can pass on the high side, but with this particular setup, we don't have enough speed to do that. All right, there we go. A good run off of turn 2. We'll try to drag race them down into turn 3, having to hold off on the throttle. Once again, this track is extremely fast, has tons of grip. So you have to be very careful. This is one of those tracks that as soon as you think you've got the car too loose, you'll realize it's not loose enough, because you'll just keep gaining speed. All right, we're up to the top 30 now in just a few laps. All right, I'm trying to be real easy on these guys because it is very easy to run one of them over, particularly at this spot in the grid on corner entry. All right, the question is, how fast are we in this race? Got there, 47 car. I'm not moving out of the way. All right, so far so good. Pick up another spot or two. Try to beat the 32 car down into turn 1 for a position. And that helps us get a good run off the corner. So the angle we're taking into turn 1 is a terrible angle and really kills the speed, but it's basically what we have to do to keep these guys at bay and get position on them on corner entry. If I don't, I end up like what happened right there. I get up the track and these guys will eat me alive if I'm not careful. Alright, I managed to get back down to the bottom that time, but you can easily get freight trained if you don't get immediately back to the bottom. We were fortunate right now to have a little bit of a break in the action, but you do not want to get up the track. Let's see what we can do. Oh! How about that? Junior's going to love that. Alright, so we're up to 19th now. And our sights set on Danica Patrick now. Again, just trying to get position on her on corner entry, that we can take care of the rest on corner exit. We are killing these guys on corner entry. That's what happened with Junior. Junior, I didn't even drive it in very deep, but I drove it in deeper than he did, which is why we had contact. Alright, so we're on lap 12, we're up to 17th, so again, plenty of laps remaining. Ooh, heavy braking there. Tight coming off that corner, pushing up the track. That was okay. We had plenty of room for us and Eric Jones. Oh wow, the 20 car. I'm gonna back off way early. Oh my goodness, then we got run over. And that's why it's hard to cut somebody a break. You basically just have to take whatever you can get, because otherwise the AI will, as we almost got ran over. Alright, so these guys in front of us are fighting very hard. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to get around them. As you can see, the 20 car is really blocking the bottom heavily. Alright, let's see if we can get... Nope. Still cutting across every time. So if I'm going to stick my nose in there, I'm going to have to just make up my mind to do it. And understand that he's probably going to cut across my nose regardless. Alright, good run off the corner here, which should set me up quite nicely on the entry to turn 1 to get position on him. Trying to stay off the 5 car as well. See if we can get position on him as well. Alright, we got him. If you have a good handling car, you can really drive it down into turn 1. Let the car float through the center. It will carry a lot of speed. And then you can get right back to the throttle and really run some great lap times. The setup we're running will not allow that. We just simply don't have enough rotation in the car to allow for that. But boy, it is a beautiful feeling when you can get this thing to rotate properly. Okay, so finally we're up to 13th. And somewhere around 5 more laps to go to halfway. So we're in good shape. Just right now, I'm just trying to see what we've got. Again, like I always do, just try to see how I can drive the car. How deep can I get by with going into the corner before that happens and I slide up the track. How little brake can I use, that kind of stuff. Just trying to see what I can get by with this car, the way it's set up. Alright, so we're closing in on these guys in front of us, but not very quickly. They're running some good laps in comparison to us, so that's good. That's what we want. We want to have to work for it. So now we're in the top dozen. We've got plenty of laps left. We're at the halfway point now. Let's see if I can get inside of... Yeah, we can get inside of the 11. We have enough speed to stay there because we are really tight coming off that corner. Alright, that was a good run off the corner, and the top 10 is squarely in our sights now. Ooh, see the 2-car jump right down in front of us there. There's only so many times I will allow that before I no longer give way to him. We are picking up, we picked up a few positions there very quickly, as these guys are racing very hard. So we're up to 8th, and 29, lap number 29 out of 52. Oh, Jimmy Johnson right up there in front of us. Sorry, JJ. Gotta go. So just like at Bristol, at some point, the AI are going to try things just to see if they can get by with them. It's up to you whether or not they do. So in a sharp contrast to what happened at Bristol, here we are, we're up to 7th, and we're seeing lots of lead lap cars in front of us and a good deal fewer lap traffic, so that's always much more fun. When you realize that you're passing cars for position rather than passing the same cars over and over and over because their laps down, makes for a lot more fun. I would love to get in the top 5, and of course the top 5 is right there within our grasp, as 5th place would be Martin Truex Jr. You can see the 42 car starting to drive a little bit erratically, moving around his groove and hopping around the racetrack more. So I'm just going to experiment a little bit and see if I can find a good way to get beside him. I would even take to the outside right now because there's no train behind us. If we do happen to get stuck up there, there's plenty of room for us to get back down if it doesn't work. Oh, we got the 14 car. It's going very slowly. Looks like he might have gotten into the wall, blew a tire, something like that. Alright, lap traffic in the way now with the 72 car. Alright, let's see if we can split him going into turn 1.
Still a car out there. Outside. Clear.
Alright, and it worked. The easy thing to do would have been to follow the 42 car on the high side to pass the 72, but where's the fun in that? So now the top 5 is squarely in front of us. I see more lap traffic. Wow. Yeah, this is our first batch of really heavy lap traffic. Alright, we should have position on Gase going into turn 3. Alright, 2 lap cars right in front of Truex. Truex is going to go in on the bottom of 3 wide. Whew, that was tight. So Truex is getting through this lap traffic very nicely. All right, David Reagan is in 5th. Wow. He did this same thing at Bristol. He was running great at Bristol. So something happened to McMurray right there. I don't know if they had contact or what, but that moves us up into the top 5. Well, I'm not sure for how long. Ooh, watch out. Alright, Truex is not going that well on the top, so now we're sort of home. This is the downside of being on the high side. Our only real hope right now is to find an opening. Oh, Truex did not get off that corner good at all. Wow, oh my goodness gracious, we're going into the corner, and it is just chaos everywhere. Yikes, big wreck. Went into the corner, I was all over the 42, somebody was all over me from behind. So we were all shoving each other into that corner. So we come out of that corner in 7th. So we lost a couple of spots, but it definitely could have been worse. Ooh, watch out, 13. Alright, of course DJ Kennington is going to get right down in the way. Oh, somebody popped me in the left rear corner. Try to give everybody room. Oh, watch out. Oh. It's like demolition derby out here. Oh, watch out there, Jamie McMurray. Alright, first thing I'm going to do if I get back up there is move DJ Kennington out of the way. He is causing all sorts of horrible things to happen on this track right now. This is where the AI will fight, whether they're 10 laps down, they will fight just as hard as if they were fighting for the victory. Alright, so we're back to 11th. Not the end of the world. Not exactly what we had in mind, but not the end of the world. And you can see who's up at the front of this pack, just weaving back and forth, blocking cars. There he is, the 96 car. All right, could you please move? Thank you. That was probably a lot more fun than it should have been. So somehow, in this demolition derby of a race, we're going to end up, it looks like, with a shot at, well, never mind. I was going to say a shot at a top 5, because I can see plenty of lead lap cars immediately in front of us, but we have run out of laps. Alright, and that will do it. So we'll bring it home in 10th. That was a very eventful last, say, 15 laps. Very eventful. Lots of beating and banging. We were all trying to wreck each other, I think, by the end there. So we'll take our 10th, and we'll move on. Okay, I missed seeing who won. Let's let it scroll back around. Let's see what happens. So Kevin Harvick brings home the victory. Very nicely done on his part. So we're now up to a ridiculously high 12.6 million in our bank account. And Kyle Busch, at least for the moment, takes over the point lead. I say for the moment because we still have more wins than him, but now we have a total of 5 winners on the season, with Kevin Harvick joining us atop the board. Matt Kenseth registers the fastest lap. Again, I have absolutely no idea how close we were to that as far as lap time. All right, so that was a bit of a demolition derby. Let's see what Brad K's got to say.
Hey, I just want to let you know, your rough driving's starting to make a few enemies out there. You might want to be careful, because believe me, I know what it's like to have enemies out there.
Yes, you do, Brad. Yes, you do. All right, so I'm dying to know, do we have a rival? No, we do not. Poor Jeffrey Earnhardt must have missed picture day at school, because he has no picture available, and everybody is still neutral. Okay, so, oh well. I thought we might actually get somebody who is above neutral after that, but it would appear as though we will not. Now, I have no idea why Chris Buescher would be neutral toward us. I don't even remember racing around him. Oh well. So that's the way it goes, and now we're coming up to Talladega. So Talladega, basically a short track with the way you race it, and this will probably be, well, it should be interesting. We'll put it that way. Talladega and Daytona in this game are not what they should be and not what they could be. But of course, we'll talk more about that in our next video. For now, thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more NASCAR Heat 2.